Hi guys, Mato here. After watching a ton of guide videos for Ana that for the most part didn't seem to give much guidance past a very basic level, I've decided to make my own. Or, if they did go past a basic level, the advice was way too far advanced with too little explanation for an average player to learn anything from just watching. I'm going to go over what I've observed climbing the ranks as a formerly hard-stuck silver support that eventually somehow made my way up to a peak of Grandmaster 2. First off, in a lot of the Ana guides that I've watched, they've spent several minutes just listing off all of Ana's stat values, such as like her ability cooldowns and damage numbers, as if they were some kind of sentient wiki page. How does knowing those numbers help you play better? I have no idea. I mean, the ability cooldowns pop up on screen after you use them, so anyone that's played any hero long enough will understand their cooldowns after a few matches. Not to mention, none of those numbers are static and change from patch to patch anyway. Some others went over stuff like focusing on playing on high ground, which in general, it's a good idea, but the unfortunate thing is, a lot of the time your team won't be playing in your line of sights. This even happens in higher level lobbies, but it's definitely more common in lower ranks. Instead, I'd focus more on finding a safe spot that is a decent distance away from the center of action, but not too far away that you can't help your team. Also, some points don't even have high ground for Ana to support from to begin with. Another thing that was mentioned a lot is that you have to be good at aiming to play Ana. I mean, it's not entirely untrue, but I feel like people over-exaggerate the point. And in fact, I'd argue that if you can hit around 28 to 40% of your shots, you can probably climb to at least diamond level. The tips that I want to give you have hardly anything to do with how good you are at aiming, or your positioning, and more so have to do with how effectively you can read your opponents and use Ana's kit to your advantage. What I want to go over is timing your abilities in different scenarios using 3 skills that anyone can master with enough practice. I'd say I'm way past my competitive gaming prime, but I make up for a lot of that with just these 3 things: visual cues, audio cues, and observing player behavior. As a disclaimer, I will say the higher you climb the ranks, the less effective these tricks will become, and that's where you'll have to adapt and develop new tricks. My teachings can only get you so far on their own. Let's go through an example of what I mean. So let's say you're playing Ana, and then a diva uses her thruster to get in your face. What's an average Ana player's reaction? It's a shooter with a sleep dart. But what does an above average diva player do when she knows that Ana has her sleep dart? She'll use her defense matrix in anticipation of the sleep and kill you. Knowing all this, at a glance, your average Ana player might think that they stand no chance. But the truth is, with enough patience, it's still possible to come out on top as the Ana player using a combination of the 3 things I mentioned before. Running back the scenario, when the diva uses her thrusters to close the distance on Ana, if you, as the Ana player, hears that, you now know her most likely next move will be to use her defense matrix. You can use that to your advantage and delay your normal instinct to use sleep dart, and then after a short delay, you'll notice that the diva will more than likely release her defense matrix, and that is your moment to strike. Using your knowledge of her player behavior, you now have the perfect opportunity to sleep dart the diva after you see the defense matrix drop. It's basically like mental rock, paper, scissors. This same logic may apply to many close encounters with different heroes, such as someone like Genji or Reaper. When a Genji dashes in close to you, the next most common move that I've noticed is that Genji will immediately try to use deflect if you're looking at him. He does this in anticipation of either of your 2 abilities coming out, but in this case you don't have to delay any actions. You can instead, after hearing the deflect sound effect, use your biotic grenade through his deflect by simply aiming it at the ground beneath you. But be careful, don't aim too close to the Genji or your grenade might still be deflected. With the added healing from your biotic grenade, you can now survive long enough and hopefully land your next sleep dart, or if not, hope for backup to arrive. In Reaper's case, it's the same basic idea as waiting out Diva's defense matrix, but replace the words defense matrix with Reaper's wraith form. The scenarios I've mentioned so far have been for defensive plays to save your own life and turn the tables, but there are many offensive plays that can be made using these same tips as well. For a very common offensive counter matchup that many know but still might not know it as well as they think they do, there's the Roadhog Ana matchup. Anyone that isn't a new player knows that Ana can counter Roadhog pretty heavily, but even knowing that, I still see Anas lose frequently to Roadhog players. A lot of that boils down to poor positioning, but that's not what I want to focus on. There are already plenty of videos out there that explain that you need good positioning to climb. That isn't anything specific to Ana though. I want to instead explain how to make the enemy Roadhog's life a living nightmare. I don't know how often you guys have played against a Roadhog, but there is a very specific behavior that I've noticed from your average hog player regarding their healing habits. A lot of players use their heal around the exact same time in fights, and I came to a conclusion on when that is. The simple answer is, it's when they're at half health. So, as the Ana player, this is when you'd want to use either one of your abilities to counter him. The more in-depth answer is that most people use it at half health because of the sound and visual cue you get on screen when you are reduced to half health on a hero. The sound cue makes it sound like you're 1 hit from dying, but in a tank's case, half health is still more health than your average hero. This doesn't stop the habit that the average hog player you'll run into will have. So, Knowing this information, you can anticipate when a hog will use his next heal and counter with an ability. Unfortunately, the higher you go in the ranks, the more difficult this becomes, as the hog players will have eventually wisened up to this behavior. You can use the same logic to find different answers in any number of scenarios. It's just a matter of opening up your mind to the possibilities. This is a key factor to how many players climb the ladder, and I haven't been able to find a good video explaining it, but maybe there's another one out there. Anyway, let me know what you think. To end this video, I'd like to just mention some really bad habits that new Ana players make. Quit jumping around no-scoping your tank in the back. It drives me insane. The hero you're playing uses a sniper rifle, so sit further back. Also, you get your nano pretty frequently, so stop only using it to combo with your Genji, and use it when you think your team needs it most. For example, when your tank is one hit from dying and you don't have enough time to heal him, just pop it. Literally just pop it. I see far too many Anas holding their ults for some huge combo, only for it to fail. Sorry, I just had to get that off my chest. I hope this video has helped you think outside the box. Happy climbing.